The best way to apologize without losing your dignity. Breakup recovery tips. Ever been in a situation where you knew you needed to apologize, but had no idea how to do it without looking desperate? Maybe you said something in the heat of the moment, acted in a way you regret, or let your emotions take over, and now you're wondering if there's a way to fix things without making yourself look weak. Apologizing after a breakup is tricky. Done wrong, it can push your ex further away, making them lose even more respect for you. Done right, it can bring closure, restore dignity, and even reopen communication. The problem is, most people get it completely wrong. They beg, they over-explain, they try to force forgiveness. And in the process, they make things worse. But here's the good news. There is a way to apologize with confidence and without losing your dignity. In today's video, we're diving into the biggest apology mistakes that actually push your ex away, how to say sorry without sounding desperate, and the best way to own your mistakes while keeping your self-respect intact. Stick around till the end because I'll also share real-life examples of apologies that worked and ones that completely backfired. Ready? Let's get started. You might be wondering, does apologizing even matter after a breakup? The truth is, it absolutely does, but not for the reasons most people think. A lot of people assume that an apology is about winning someone back. They believe that if they just say the right words, their ex will suddenly forgive them and want to be together again. But that's not how it works. An apology isn't about fixing the relationship, it's about fixing yourself and making peace with the past. When done correctly, an apology can restore lost respect by showing emotional maturity, give closure, not just to your ex but to yourself, and release guilt so you can move forward without regrets. But most importantly, apologizing the right way allows you to take responsibility without lowering your self-worth. It's not about convincing your ex to change their mind, it's about demonstrating that you've grown from the experience. Think about it this way, a sincere, well-placed apology is like a period at the end of a sentence. It brings clarity and closure. But a desperate, over-explained, or guilt-ridden apology? That's like adding a question mark where it doesn't belong. It creates doubt, confusion, and emotional pressure. So if you're thinking about apologizing, the goal is not to seek validation from your ex. The goal is to communicate self-awareness, accountability, and respect, both for them and for yourself. And before you rush into saying I'm sorry, let's talk about the biggest mistakes people make when apologizing after a breakup. Because trust me, getting this wrong can do more harm than good. Apologizing can be powerful, if done right. But if done wrong, it can push your ex further away and leave you feeling even worse. Many people rush to apologize after a breakup, thinking that if they just say the right words, their ex will change their mind. But here's the truth. A bad apology is worse than no apology at all. Let's go over the most common mistakes that can ruin your apology and make things worse. 1. Apologizing too soon. Timing is everything. If you apologize while emotions are still raw, it can come off as self-serving rather than genuine. Your ex might feel like you're apologizing just to relieve your own guilt, rather than truly understanding what went wrong. Instead of rushing, give it some space. Let emotions settle so that your words actually carry weight. 2. Over-apologizing. Saying I'm sorry 100 times won't fix things. In fact, it makes you look desperate. When you over-apologize, you send the message that you're seeking approval rather than taking responsibility. A strong apology is clear, concise, and confident. You don't need to beg or repeat yourself, just say it once, mean it, and move on. 3. Apologizing just to get them back. If your apology has an ulterior motive, your ex will sense it. If you're only saying sorry to try and win them back, it's not a real apology, it's manipulation. A sincere apology should be about owning your actions, not about changing their feelings. If you apologize with an agenda, it will backfire. 4. Making it all about you. An apology is not the time to explain your pain or to seek sympathy. Saying things like I've been miserable without you or I can't sleep, I can't eat might be true, but it shifts the focus onto you rather than acknowledging how your ex felt. Instead, keep the focus on their experience. Show that you understand how your actions affected them. 5. Expecting immediate forgiveness. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that an apology guarantees forgiveness. It doesn't. Your ex is not obligated to forgive you and they might not be ready. Instead of saying, I hope you can forgive me, try, I just wanted to acknowledge my mistakes. I understand if you need time. This shows maturity and respect for their feelings. 6. Apologizing over text. If your relationship was meaningful, don't apologize over a quick text message. It's impersonal and can easily be misinterpreted. A face-to-face conversation is best. If that's not possible, a thoughtful voice message or letter can be a better way to communicate sincerity. 7. Not actually changing your behavior. An apology means nothing if your actions don't match your words. If you say, "I know I was too controlling," but then keep texting them constantly, your words lose all meaning. Apologizing is not just about saying sorry. It's about showing that you've learned from your mistakes. Apologizing after a breakup can feel like walking a tightrope. You want to express regret, but you don't want to appear weak or desperate. You want to take responsibility, but you don't want to take all the blame. The key is to apologize with confidence and self-respect. Here's how you do it. First, wait until you're emotionally ready. Apologizing out of panic, guilt, or desperation will only make things worse. If you're still in emotional turmoil, your words may come across as needy or insincere. Before you apologize, ask yourself, am I apologizing to take responsibility, or just to make myself feel better? Have I given myself time to process my emotions? Am I prepared for any response, even no response at all? If your answer is yes, then you're ready to apologize with dignity. Next, keep it short and sincere. A powerful apology doesn't need to be a long speech or a begging session. In fact, less is more. A simple, straightforward apology shows maturity. I realize I hurt you, and I take full responsibility. That was never my intention, and I regret it. Notice what's not in this apology. No excuses, no over-explaining, and no begging for another chance. Acknowledge their feelings without over-explaining. One of the biggest mistakes people make is justifying their behavior instead of truly acknowledging how the other person felt. Instead of saying, "I was just really stressed, that's why I acted that way." Try this. "I understand that my actions hurt you, and I regret that." That's not the kind of partner I want to be. This keeps the focus on them, rather than shifting it back to you. Avoid blaming or playing the victim. Apologizing with dignity means you take responsibility, without blaming them or your circumstances. "I'm sorry, but you also hurt me," shifts blame and sounds defensive. "I had no choice. I was just going through so much," makes it about you, not them. Instead, own up to your actions without expectation. "I see now that my actions caused you pain, and that's on me. I just wanted to acknowledge that." Expect nothing in return. A true apology isn't a transaction. You don't say sorry to get something in return. You might hope for forgiveness, but you have to be okay if they aren't ready to give it. Apologize with the mindset that this is about you making amends, not about getting them back. This also means no pressuring them to respond, no expecting instant forgiveness, and no checking in to see if they felt your apology. When you apologize and let go, you come across as strong and self-respecting, not weak or needy. Show through actions, not just words. Words can be empty if they're not backed up by real change. If your past behavior hurt your ex, the best apology isn't just saying "I've changed," it's showing them. If you were overly controlling, show that you respect boundaries now. If you were emotionally unavailable, work on expressing your feelings in healthier ways. If you took them for granted, demonstrate that you've learned gratitude and appreciation. You don't need to prove this to them directly. The best way to show change is by becoming the best version of yourself, regardless of whether they're watching. Leave the door open, but don't chase. A great apology closes the chapter on the past while leaving room for future possibilities. Say something like, "I just wanted to say this, and I respect whatever you decide." No pressure, no expectations, just the truth. This removes pressure from the conversation and allows them to process your words on their own time. It also shows that you're mature, confident, and secure in yourself. Final thought. The best apology is calm, sincere, and self-assured. It's not about getting back together, it's about acknowledging the past, making peace, and moving forward with dignity. And sometimes the most powerful apology isn't spoken at all, it's reflected in how you live your life moving forward. Sometimes, the best way to understand what makes a great apology is through real-life examples. Let's look at two scenarios, one that worked and one that completely backfired. Example 1. The dignified apology that opened the door. Mark and Sarah had been together for 3 years. After a heated argument, Mark said things he didn't mean, and Sarah walked away feeling hurt and disrespected. Instead of bombarding her with texts, Mark took time to reflect. A week later, he sent her a simple, mature message. "Hey Sarah, I just wanted to take responsibility for how I acted. I was wrong and you didn't deserve that. I don't expect anything in return, but I wanted to say I'm sorry." Because he didn't pressure her for a response or try to justify his behavior, Sarah felt respected and heard. This allowed her to process the apology on her own terms, and later they were able to have an honest conversation. Example 2. The apology that pushed her away for good. Ryan, on the other hand, handled things differently. When his ex broke up with him, he panicked. He sent 20 long texts apologizing, called her repeatedly, and even showed up at her house unannounced. Instead of making her feel valued, Ryan's desperation confirmed her decision to leave. His apology wasn't about her feelings, it was about his need for closure. She felt suffocated and blocked his number. The key difference? Mark's apology was calm, sincere, and self-respecting, while Ryan's was emotional, overwhelming, and needy. Lesson: when apologizing, less is more. Say what needs to be said once, with confidence, then step back and let them process it. Apologizing after a breakup isn't about winning your ex back, it's about self-respect, growth, and emotional healing. If they forgive you, great. If not, you've still done the right thing. The key is to own your mistakes without begging for forgiveness. If this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and comment below what's the best way to apologize in your opinion. Let's talk.